What is going on today, beautiful people? I've got some gameplay of quads, running it with the boys, and we're trying to get a nice high kill dub game, so let's get right into it. As always, I'm going to try and cut up this video so that it's not super duper long. I find that the videos that come out to over 20 minutes get a little bit boring, and I even find myself tuning out of even some of my favorite content creators. So what I'm going to try and do is keep these things to 10 to 12 minutes. Let me know if the cuts are a little bit jarring or a little bit wonky. That's something I'm just trying to work on to make it a little bit more smooth and entertaining, and I'm not like losing bits. So please leave me any feedback with regards to that in the comments. And lastly, if you're a frequent user of Twitch or Twitter, please consider giving me a follow. I would massively appreciate it. What we're trying to do is we're trying to create a few lanes so that if you're a Twitch person, you can come watch this thing live. If you're somebody that prefers watching the finished product, that's what the YouTube's for. If you're somebody that just kind of likes popping in and out, Twitter's kind of that kind of place, and I tend to leave a lot of replies and responses to people on Twitter that are kind of entertaining, that get hits. So if that's kind of your speed, come join either of those platforms. I would massively appreciate it. And I've been doing my best to ask for feedback. So people that jump into the Twitch chat, I've asked them what I can do to improve it, to make the experience a little bit better for those watching, or to help keep that interaction smooth. So if you have anything, drop by the Twitch stream. Let me know how I can improve that, because I feel like that's where I have the most learning that I need to do. YouTube is something that I've been on my own trying to kind of progress. But even with YouTube, the comment section is for you guys to let me know what can I do better, or maybe something that you liked, so that I can keep trying to fill those shoes whenever we make the next video or the next video. Now, jumping into the gameplay, quads I find a lot of the times is one of those game modes that's almost like a luxury. So for me, I know trying to get a group of 4 can be sometimes challenging. We have a pretty good group of friends that play semi-frequently, so we can get a lot of good guys on. But, you know, it doesn't happen all the time, so you kind of have to enjoy it while you can. And what I mean by that is that quads is one of those game modes where you can kind of chase kills or go after teams or pick off weak links of teams and kind of squad wipe a little bit easier than you would in, like, I know obviously solos is massively different, but like in duos, trios is kind of like quads in that sense, where you can kind of take advantage of weak players on teams or weak teams in general, where your teamwork will outperform their teamwork. Now, the goal for the channel and the goal for these videos is to kind of help improve your KD and your placement in Warzone, get a better understanding for like the fundamentals of the game. We're obviously not pro players here. We don't put up those kinds of numbers, and that's not the purpose for the videos. I almost want these to serve as more of like an educational tool in a way, where you can watch somebody that's maybe a little bit higher skill level than maybe what you're at. It's something that you want to try and improve to get to different thresholds. So for me, I do the same, where I watch people that are higher skill level than me to try and pick up on those tools. And I find a lot of the times that that's what makes you better, is looking at the next step above, seeing who's there, and learning from them. When you find yourself reaching that threshold, you move on, right? You go to the next person who you think you need to reach that next threshold. So it's at this point in the video where we get our loadout, and this is kind of an important period when you're playing. You want to land, and you want your first goal to always be get a loadout as fast as possible. Obviously, getting the free one at the end of the first circle is advantageous because you can kind of save your money for self-reses or UAVs or kill streaks that could help you finish kills. But the sooner you get your weapon, the sooner you can do stuff like this. Pressure teams early. That's a great way to get early kills when you have your loadout and you're very comfortable with what you're using. Right now, we're just stalking this this group over here. They're our bounty. We kind of ran into them, or they drove up to us, and we're kind of using our tools to our advantage. We have heartbeats. We have our loadout weapons, so we're super comfortable with what we're using. And the team's rolling up on us, presumably one that's of a higher skill level. Now, it's an important assumption to make, because whenever you're encountering a team, it's good to have an understanding of what kind of skill level player am I coming up against. Should you be backing off? Should you be pressuring the fight? These are all things that get answered when you answer that first question of how high of a skill level are we coming up against here? And this was kind of the result. We had somebody push me early with a R9 shotgun. Although slightly nerfed as of right now, still a very powerful option, and was shown to not have as big of a nerf as we originally anticipated. Now, I do think with a little bit of a more tight strategy, this team could have taken us out for sure, because we were a little flustered. This isn't really an area that we fight very often. But you can see that they almost came to us in waves, right? So a good team will attack from all directions around the same time to not give you enough time to think of where the shot's coming from, who's shooting at me. Overall, not too bad. We do end up losing 2 of our guys. One still has Gouge, so we're not too hung up about it. I know there's a shop near the loadout that just dropped, so we're going to be focusing on kind of looting these guys, making sure we have all the resources that we need. Head towards the shop, head towards the loadout so that we can get our buddy back and we can kind of get our ghost perks back. Another cool thing that Quads presents that you normally won't get in like a single player mode or a duos mode is that when you have teammates that are dead, for in this case we have 1, they can kind of overshadow you and watch you and ping stuff on the map for you. Oh, the shop's here. Oh, shooting coming from here. So although they're out of the match, they're still kind of giving you call outs. And it's something that kind of gets overlooked sometimes, and people who die don't take advantage of that opportunity. Now, quickly whipping out our baby monitor, we notice that we have one of the gentlemen that we wiped over here come back for his stuff, presumably. Usually when you wipe a 4-stack or if you're in trios, it's a very low chance that all 3 or all 4 of the people that you kill are going to be gone from the game forever. And again, using that knowledge from before where we said, what skill level is this team? A high-level skilled team will come back for their stuff. Now, that's not something that we took a huge advantage of in that situation, but what a lot of teams tend to do is after squad wiping a team, if you hang around that area for another 1 to 2 minutes, you'll probably notice if it was a high skill level team, they're going to come back for their stuff, and you'll be able to get another few kills on people that are just fresh from the gulag that have no chance against you. So that's something where you can use that to your advantage as well. For those of you that don't want to wait around, I have a buddy that just throws down a claymore or a mine. It's an easy way of getting potentially a kill or a down just by tossing one of those guys down on loot, so that if you're leaving the scene, maybe you can drop that and maybe you get a little kill off the rip there when they come back, and it can help boost your stats a little bit and it helps get rid of a team for good. So we just noticed there was a gentleman that just ran out of the house. We're pushing him really quick because we've got the R9, and the R9 is one of those delete machines where if you get within range, 2 pumps right to the chest is going to down or kill. In this case, we got lucky, got a little squad wipe here. We just had a little solo running around, and we cleaned that up really nicely. And you're going to notice here that we come up against another team. Now, it's important to note, and I've talked about this in another video, that positioning is incredibly important. So you're going to see in the situation that's going to play out right here is I'm going to have 2 of my teammates fall in the same general location.
That was me.
Now, I know that's not the game plan, that's not what gets intended, but a lot of the times, as a team, we'll follow each other. Kind of like a train. We'll just keep going in that same direction and follow it like it's tracks. And we find ourselves in either the same good situation or the same bad situation. And the reason why a lot of the times it's going to be bad is because good plays don't usually result in you grouping up, if that makes sense. So right here, we found a guy in the window, taking him out really quick, assuming that there's still more people as part of this team. I think somebody gave me a call out that he was behind the truck, so we're just kind of peeping that really quick. Scanning, just being as mobile as possible. We don't want to get accidentally sniped out of a window. Getting the call out that he's behind the fence. Trying to support the team a little bit here, trying to keep him off. And this guy makes a really dumb challenge. So we notice over here that our boy Zippy HD made an oopsie, and he challenged me from behind that wall, which is a really hard peek because your whole body's exposed versus me, who's up in a window. Most of my body is protected, or I can go crouch or prone or hide behind cover and gear up. If I were to give Zippy HD some feedback so that he doesn't make that oopsie again, would be that reading that situation, playing it out a little bit differently would have maybe resulted him in getting the squad wipe or maybe just the kills. So what we had in that situation there was we had 2 of my friends that were down behind the wall. You had me who was up in the window that I'm assuming Zippy HD knew I was there because I took a few shots at him. He could have just waited for me to exit the window to go for the self-res, or if I chose not to do that because I didn't want to give up my position, then you would have had an easy 2 kills from the 2 dudes bleeding out because one of my friends hit the self-res and then got downed again. The other one did not have a self-res. So Zippy HD, next time if you're watching, dude, do not make that push. If you have to, rotate to the other side, go try and clean up your kills, or wait for me to push out of the window to res my teammates, because right there you kind of gave it up for nothing. And here we are, reaching the 6th circle. We're getting to the end game. There's 3 teams left. It looks like a high number of dudes per team, though, so that's something we got to be mindful of. And we're running into this thing with 4 people up, which is really, really good. As much as you can, you want to aim to have all 4 dudes up, all 4 dudes to have a self-res, all 4 dudes to have their loadouts. What's a little tough here is you're out in the open, you only have trees and rocks as cover, and things can go wrong really fast. You'll notice that we hugged the out-of-bounds wall because we know that there's no one that's going to sneak up on our ass. We're fighting directly in front of us or directly to our right, and we can use the environment here as cover. So you can see we're going prone a lot. We're trying to kind of use the surrounding area to our advantage. We have buddies going down. We're trying to hang on to this cover, res as much as we can, keep all 4 dudes up. Down to 2 teams, including ours. We've got 5 people still remaining in the game other than the 3 that we have up. So worst case scenario, that's a 4-1 split. Better case scenario is a 3-2 split. And ideally, in these kinds of situations, you want to try and third party. My friends and I make the analogy of being a ham sandwich in these situations where we find ourselves being the ham a lot. We don't want to be the ham. We want to be the buns, and we want to be the ones squishing and pressuring the team. So when you have a team that's getting third-partied, you want to jump in on that action if you're not the team getting shot at. We're still trying to use this cover as best we can. I think we have a really good position here in the trees where we can have these rocks as cover. We see one of my buddies here trying to make a move to push closer to the circle, and he gets a challenge there by a guy behind a tree who's been chilling there for a bit. He gets thirsted, which sucks, and that takes us down to me and one other buddy still left. We got a guy down there. I'm taking some shots at him to get some pressure on that guy. He's not in the circle, so what's going to happen, he's going to have to push out. I go back to try and find some cover and find a route to get to that purple ping that we placed.
There, just behind the tree to your right.
So we saw a little guy there glinting us from another rock. He's still out of zone, so he's going to have to push in as well. We're still keeping an eye on the guy that shot at us from before. We found a nice little rock that's just about in cover, so we're going to use this to our advantage to try and pin these 2 guys. 1 down, there's the solo. He's out. So now we see that we're in a 2-3 split here where it's me and my buddy versus 3 dudes. My buddy is still down, and this is kind of a situation where it's really hard to res when you're the last 2 teams that are up, especially considering that they have the advantage. Getting some shots, using the rock as cover. This rock is literally the lifesaver that won us this match. And just playing it slow, getting stunned, not panicking, throwing my stun in response, putting up some cover fire, getting behind the rock, armoring up. Super important to armor up. Do not challenge opponents without any armor if you have armor that's available and you're not getting pressured. Stun comes out in response. Try and get an easy hit. Miss. We see our opponent. Ooh, babe.
Holy, I can't believe you won that.
Wow.
Holy crap.
That shot at the end, like, hit the ground.
He was knees out.
I was spamming it, bro. Like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
This guy's name was uninstalled. You probably should.
I gotta change my diaper after that one. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you. If this video helped you in any way or gave you some sort of insight into how I think about the game, please leave me a comment down below. Let me know how I did. Give me some feedback. Let me know how I can improve these videos. I'd love if you guys came and took a look at our Twitch and our Twitter. Please give me a shot. Give me a follow. Let me know how I'm doing there as well. I really want to improve all these different platforms so that depending on the kind of person that you are, you can enjoy content your way, but in this kind of a format, as helpful and as educational as possible. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for watching. And until next time, peace.